Hi, I'm Tracey Christensen, your host on Community Connection. The Natural History Museum of Utah has a mission to illuminate the natural world and the place of humans within it. Here to tell us more about that is Jim Breitinger. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So it's exciting. The museum has a new home. Tell us about that.
So I just want to start off by saying we are so lucky to live in Utah, which is such a spectacular place. When I was coming in the studio this morning, I looked up at Mount Timpanogos, which is one of my favorite mountains in the world. The museum is on the edge of Salt Lake City, kind of where nature meets culture, really. We're on the Bonneville Shoreline Trail right next to Red Butte Garden, and we're in our new home, which is the Rio Tinto Center, right next to Red Butte Garden. And it's really a spectacular building, 163,000 square feet, with incredible exhibits and huge collections in a research area that people sometimes don't even know about. Yeah. When you walk, the building itself is really modeled after our state, which, as we all know, is just gorgeous. Yeah. So you walk in and there's the canyon area, which is the large public space. It has a huge 3-story collection wall, which has objects from our collections that we show off to the people as they're entering, and then people can go into the exhibit areas and dive a little bit deeper into what we have in our collections.
So neat. And you could spend a long time there, right?
Absolutely.
And still not see everything.
Absolutely. And every time I walk through, I see something a little bit different. So
it's amazing. So tell us about some of the exhibits that you have now.
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit about our past worlds exhibits. Everybody loves dinosaurs, right?
Yes.
So we are featured this year in National Geographic in 2014, and National Geographic was interested in what we're doing because in southern Utah, in Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, we're discovering dozens of new dinosaur species. So about 12 or so years ago, some people started uncovering dinosaur bones, and this is just an area that happened to not have been explored before. And there's so many new species coming out that National Geographic did a whole story on it. Our head paleontologist, his name is Randy Ermis, and he's super interesting to listen to. It's important to note that when you talk about these past worlds, it's not just dinosaurs that lived. There were plants and other animals, lots of species that are now lost to us because they're extinct. They're extinct
too.
Yeah. One dinosaur in particular of note is called Lythronax argestes, which translates as Gore King of the Southwest. He's on display right now in the museum. He's a tyrannosaur, something of a great-great-uncle to T-Rex. He lived about 15 million years prior to T-Rex. And it's the oldest large-bodied tyrannosaur ever found. One of the interesting things about it, there's many, is he had feathers and what we call proto-feathers, because modern-day birds are really living dinosaurs, right? And so some of these dinosaur species from long ago had feathers on them. So T-Rex and Lythronax were kind of fuzzy creatures, which is sort of interesting to think about because they're so vicious, right?
Yeah.
So our Past Worlds exhibit is one of our signature galleries, but it's one of many. We are a science museum, but our exhibits are designed to really inspire the visitor and encourage them to learn more.
There's a lot of hands-on at the museum.
There are a lot of hands-on interactives that we have. One of the cool ones is in our Great Salt Lake Gallery, where you can crank this. It's an old submarine pump. We had to get something sturdy because it gets so much use. And you can fill up what's the Salt Lake Valley with water and simulate the levels of different levels of Lake Bonneville over the years, because it fluctuated. But for many, many years, not just the Salt Lake Valley, but huge chunks of western Utah were underwater in Lake Bonneville. So we have a whole exhibit about that.
Remind us of your website so people can go.
It's nhmu.utah.edu.
Great. So, and hours and cost and all kinds of information. Is that right?
Thanks. We are open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. 7 days a week, except Wednesdays we're open late until 9 p.m. so people can come on the evenings on Wednesdays.
It's an amazing and beautiful resource. Thanks so much for telling us about it.
It really is, yeah.
Thanks for being here. Here at 11, we strive to bring you, our viewers, information about what's going on throughout the state. If you'd like to learn more about the Natural History Museum of Utah, please visit KBYU11.org and click on the Community tab. Thanks for being with us. Please join us again next time on Community Connection.